He was one of the most famous and most important composers for us, for Polish people. We had this trio: Górecki, Lutosławski, Penderecki, and yeah, his music, you know, in pieces from the 60s this piece had very, very much influences of young composers and this atmosphere, and yeah, it was great music. And the Penderecki, somebody who really has this gesture to make a big form, so he can really control the time. And when you listen to this music, it's also very emotional music for me. And of course, in the years 80s, when I started composing, that was almost impossible to show emotion. So we were taught to not to show emotion. And in his music, I found a lot of emotion, and that's why I liked it very much. And very good instrumentation, big forms. Personally, I love to write for orchestras and to use big forms. Later, after Second Symphony, he started to write music. I would say quite heavy music, because these pieces were very long and very tight, instrumentated, and also very chromatical. And I found it a little bit sticky. That was for me, it was too much. When I analyzed his music for my PhD, and I had to listen to this music after the Second Symphony, well, I had really difficulties to listen to the end. And I discovered one thing, like for instance with Wagner, you have also never ending, let's say, music, but you use the tonal language, so these intervals are larger. And by Penderecki, it was very tight, very chromatical. So you know, always these half tones. And when you have this structure in a half tone music for such a large time, it was a little bit too much for me. But more and more I get used to it, and I appreciated really the time and the instrumentation and this very dark and very serious character of his music. And with me, of course, I had in the beginning I had influences from his music, you know, this song and the way of notating things, create things, and that gave me a way to find something what I wanted to find. And okay, everything is possible. You have to imagine music. You have to good imagine your music, and to try to find notation for what you have in your mind. So I never created a note, just a combination of note because I like to combine a note. No, I had to have something to say. So first I say to my composers, to students, first you should know what you want to say. You should know what for emotion you want to show, and then you find the notes and you find the notation. And my music developed in the years. Of course, in the years 80 and beginning of 90s, it was more avant-garde. But even then, I tried to go to the emotion. So I tried to combine with my music in such a way that the emotion was always on the first plan. So in my music was always sort of narration. And I was not afraid of it and not ashamed of it. I found sort of technique. I gave a name later. Of course, first I have to create my music. So it's polyphony of arches. You can read it about it in my website, and in general, it's quite known. So I wanted to see how much I can do with one arch. And what I mean arch is that it's different sort of emotions I combine, and every emotion has a structure. So let's say like you are in DJ on the mixing table and you combine with different sort of music. Every structure has a form of arch, so polyphony of arches. Later I tried to discover one single arch and look how much I can postpone the tension and to have interesting music. Some people thought it was similar to minimal music, but was actually not minimal. But of course I use ostinato, I use time. You have to repeat things to get in trance.